What's up, trainers? I am the Pokemon Trainer, and today we are in Lavender Town. We're heading to the Pokemon Tower, and we're going to encounter our rival yet again. Hey, Ash! What brings you here? Your Pokemon don't look dead. I can at least make them faint. Let's go, pal. It's crazy that he says that because I'm looking from the last time we battled him, which was on the SS Anne, and he had a Spearow, which is now a Fearow, as you can see, and he had a Rattata, a Sandshrew, and Eevee. Alright, let's see who he has up next. We're gonna keep cutting this Fearow. Alright, critical hit, good. So he is about to send out a Shelder. See, he didn't have a Shelder before. And I believe the newest Pokemon that he has besides the Shelder is a Vulpix. So, with that being said, I think the real reason our rival is here in Lavender Town is because he's burying his deceased friend, which is his Rattata. Now, despite all the sneaky remarks, our rival never outwardly tells us that we're responsible for the death of his Pokemon. He hides his grief and instead channels that energy into the motivation he needs to continue his quest to become Indigo League champion. The death of his Rattata effectively destroys our rival's impish childhood innocence. Tearfully swearing upon his Rattata's grave to not fail in what he set out to do, he trains hard in hopes of becoming better than us, defeating us, and eventually makes it to the Pokemon League. Mere moments after he becomes Indigo League champion, he was defeated by us. Although he fulfilled his promise to his fallen Pokemon, it was only for a painfully brief instant. In the end, our rival is scolded by his grandfather while we receive the professor's praise. During the course of the game, you steal your rival's innocence, crush his dreams, and ultimately snatch away the love of his own grandfather. Oh, and by the way, our rival doesn't have any parents. He's an orphan. Now that's straight up fan theory, but I totally believe it, and it makes total sense. Like, it's one of my favorite Pokemon fan theories out there. It's really sad and tragic, but you know, it's a really good story, I think. Like, that's why I feel Gary is everyone's favorite rival, is because he's got such a horrific backstory, or made up backstory, because I don't think it's officially confirmed. Like I said, it's fan theories, but yeah, man, it definitely ties together really well. I couldn't wait to get to the Pokemon Tower just to share that with you guys. I'm not sure if a lot of people actually know that fan theory or not, but when I first heard about it, like, I was fascinated about it. Started like searching on YouTube a whole bunch of Pokemon fan theories, and that's definitely one of my favorites. Looks like this is it. It's coming to an end. We have our starter Pokemon against each other. It's only right when you face your rival to have your starter Pokemon versus their starter Pokemon. Alright, so Eevee used Growl. We're gonna go for Thunder Shock, and we keep missing. Wow. Alright, so our accuracy fell, and we get hit with a quick attack. Pikachu's attack missed, and quick attack. Finally it landed. Alright, so Eevee fainted. We beat our rival yet again. What? You stinker! I took it easy on you too. How's your Pokédex coming, pal? I just caught a Cubone. I can't find the grown-up Marowak yet. I doubt there are any left. Well, I better get going. I've got a lot to accomplish, pal. Smell you later. some Pokemon evolve when you trade them over, so I only have Ghastly and Gengar, so we will have to catch ourselves a Haunter or Ghastly depending on which one comes first. So this is a two-parter. Alright, so we run into a Ghastly. So I'm going to showcase Ghastly once, and then I'll cut out every single time we encounter a Ghastly. I actually lied. We'll be running into Ghastly one more time. Channeler wants to fight. Channeler sent out Ghastly. So I don't know how we're going to do against this Ghastly here. Alright, and the Pokédex says that Ghastly is weak to Psychic, Dark, and Ghost. And if I remember correctly, I don't believe we have any of those typings. So with that said, we are screwed. The situation in Pokemon Tower is grave indeed, but with the Silphscope, you should be able to dig up whatever is causing all the trouble. You don't have to do anything special with the scope, but just make sure you have it with you when you enter the tower. The Silphscope automatically identifies ghosts and makes it possible to engage them in combat. So in the Generation 1 core series games, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, before the player reaches Lavender Town, members of Team Rocket invade the Pokemon Tower and attempt to steal the skulls at Cubone in order to sell them for large amounts of money. One Cubone, however, was protected by its mother. The Cubone escaped, but its mother was killed. As a result, the Marowak's ghost remained in the Pokemon Tower, forbidding access to the topmost floor. She appears as a ghost that prevents the player from ascending to the top floor until they obtain the Silphscope to identify her. In the Generation 1 games and Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, the player has to battle her to calm her down. Despite being a wild Pokemon, she avoids all thrown Pokeballs, even while sleeping. Once she is defeated, her soul is claimed and she departs to the afterlife, granting the player passage to the top floor. Ash found escape rope. A lot of people don't know this, but perhaps you heard of this internet tale already. I first heard the story years ago, and every so often I'll see it pop up again on the internet. The curious thing is, people like to circulate the story of Lavender Town despite knowing full well that it's false. For starters, the story, while the details usually vary in the telling, the important part of the story is this. Following the release of Pokemon Red and Green, there were a number of reported child suicides in Japan. The thing responsible for the suicides varies somewhat depending on the story, but the one I've heard the most has to do with the location called Lavender Town, one of the few towns in Pokemon Red and Green without a Pokemon gym. Or more specifically, the story refers to a song that plays whenever the player visits Lavender Town. In some cases of the tale, it is said that the programmers for Pokemon Red and Green created the song with code that would later drive children to kill themselves. The song contained harmful frequencies of some sort. You can read a bunch of creepypastas on the internet, so if you feel like you want to go look those up, you're more than welcome to go do that. I had to take a little quick break in the story to tell you guys that this is the Ghastly that I lied about earlier when I said we'd only be encountering it and I'd take it out. I ended up catching this Ghastly. It took too long to find a Haunter, so I was just ready to get this Ghastly and just level it up. So here's the Pokédex entry. Said to appear in decrepit, deserted buildings, it has no real shape as it appears to be made of gas. And we are not going to give it a nickname. Alrighty. Be gone, evil spirits! So this part initially I guess, came out to 27 minutes and 22 seconds. Part 2 is about 21 minutes. So it's these dang Ghastlies, and trying to level up my Ghastly is a real hassle, because I believe Ghastly evolves at level 25. It says ghosts are immune to normal and fighting moves. Physical attacks will still hit them if they're not normal or physical moves. A fighting type Pokemon can still hit them, but can't use fighting type moves to do so. Fighting types are not immune to ghost moves at all, but normal types are. At the time of recording this, I wasn't really hip on that knowledge, but it seems like Pikachu is doing a decent job. Alright, and Ghastly is finished. Scyther gained 330 XP, Pikachu 220, and Pikachu grew to level 34. Alright. Phew, the spirit left. Alright, we are going to use some super potions on Pikachu and Ghastly. And then we might as well use a super repel, so we don't attract any low level Pokemon. Alrighty. So we have Ghastly healed up now. Looks like it's got 3 more levels. And then we have a Haunter. Haunter is going to be very beneficial when we battle Sabrina. Be cursed with me! Quahaha! I'm kinda confused because I just looked up Kadabra's weakness and it's Ghosts, which my statement, what I said earlier, makes sense. But then it says Ghastly's weakness is Psychic. And Kadabra is a Psychic Pokemon, so I don't think that makes any sense. I know in the anime, Ash used Haunter to battle Sabrina, but if this is true, Psychic, Ghastly's weak to Psychic, then Kadabra's Psychic, and then Kadabra's weak to Ghost, and Ghastly and Haunter is a Ghost. I don't know, it's crazy. Just googled real quick their weaknesses, and I don't know, check it out for yourself, maybe I'm crazy. I'm gonna continue to read the article I was reading earlier. It goes on to say, when I initially heard the story, it wasn't a video or a pastebin. Rather, it was a web page that played the Lavender Town theme while I read the story. And at a critical moment, the music changed into something horrible, freaking me the fuck out. At the time, I couldn't explain what had happened. It wasn't a jump scare or anything like that. Instead, the tone changed to something that genuinely made me feel dread. It probably sounds like I'm trying to pull your leg, but I don't think it was something supernatural. I'm certain that it was a clever use of binaural beats, those special tones that allegedly influence brainwaves. People use these sounds as digital drugs of sorts, since they can have all sorts of effects on people. Whoever made the Lavender Town webpage must have stuck an eerie binaural beat in there, which was set to go off when I got to a certain point in the story. To this day, that remains the best creepypasta I've ever read. I still wish I had the link. The whole thing wouldn't have worked without the Lavender Town song priming me beforehand, which brings us to the first reason why the Lavender Town story is so effective. The song that the story revolves around is genuinely creepy. It's the sort of thing I don't really want to listen to in a dark room for an extended period of time. Given its efficiency, it's a wonder that the town and its theme song made it into the game at all. Consider Lavender Town's purpose. It's where Pokemon go to be buried. Imagine, if you will, a child playing Pokemon Red or Blue for the first time. They're told the game is about friendship, about bonds, about exploring, about catching them all. They play through the game, and they have fun, even though sometimes they probably have some of their Pokemon faint. But setbacks like those are never a big deal, considering they can simply heal their Pokemon back to life at any Pokemon Center. It's all good. And then they get to Lavender Town, where they learn that no, Pokemon can actually die. Even now as an adult, I'm somewhat shocked by the idea, even though I know full well that Ghost-type Pokemon have to come from somewhere. Lavender Town's in-game story doesn't make it any less creepy. The plot involves a restless Pokemon spirit that angrily haunts a tower. That same tower is full of trainers mourning their dead Pokemon, all of which the player speaks to while climbing the tower. As you explore the tower, you come across a number of ghost Pokemon too, which you can only see by using a special item, as well as some possessed, crazed trainers. All of this to say, Lavender Town is weird and kinda dark. It's no mystery that Lavender Town went on to become a source of fascination among players. I can't think of a single thing in Pokemon more unsettling than Lavender Town. Of course, legends about Lavender Town have lingered. The idea that Pokemon media could somehow harm children is not completely outlandish. Lavender Town is spooky and memorable on its own, but there's something weirdly seductive about the myth too. The idea that there are frightening things in the world that only children can see or experience is a well-known horror trope. It plays into the belief that children are so innocent and so sensitive they are likely more susceptible to things of a demonic nature, like a horrible tone that tells them to commit suicide. It's also worth noting that the trope isolates the vulnerable children from the adults, since the adults can't see what is plaguing the children. And when adults are supposed to be the ones protecting children, the idea becomes rather sinister, doesn't it? A kid in this case would have to fend for themselves, especially when you consider that the Lavender Town story posits that any adults looking into the mystery end up dead. Yikes. When something gets as massive as Pokemon, it's always accomplished with allegations that, despite the wholesome nature, there's a hidden message that will somehow corrupt our kids. I distinctly remember all the commotion around Pokemon troubling values, especially when it came to collecting all the Pokemon themselves, devil creatures, or the idea that the Pokemon can evolve, which goes against creationist ideas. While a creepypasta involving Lavender Town is meant to be in good fun, it still preys on our latent fear that a popular piece of media isn't all that it seems. The fact that the suicides are said to have happened in Japan is also important. It means that for most of the rest of the world, fact-checking becomes way harder. Looking into the story might require command of Japanese in order to read through interviews, or it might require relying on translations of discussions that were supposedly held over a decade ago. As Rich McCormick argues over at Polygon, the language barrier when it comes to the Lavender Town myth lends the rumor a powerful mystique. Finally, the idea that Pokemon media could somehow physically harm children is not completely outlandish. In fact, such a thing did happen, but it wasn't a nefarious devilish plot, as is the case in the creepypasta. Rather, back in 1997, a certain episode of the Pokemon anime had a scene that reportedly triggered seizures on hundreds of children, causing some of them to vomit blood or lose consciousness. The New York Times explains what happened as follows. The scene apparently combined almost simultaneously two techniques that are frequently used in cartoons. The first, called paka paka in Japanese, use different colored lights flashing alternatively to cause a sense of tension. The second, called flash, emits a strong beam of light. It was this climactic scene that apparently set off the convulsions and vomiting. Dr. Yamuchi said light emitted at frequencies between 10 Hz and 30 Hz. A unit of frequency, meaning cycles per second, can indulge seizures, and that the color red is also stimulative. Considering that something like that actually happened in real life, it's not a surprise that tall tales of Pokemon physically harming children have spread far and wide. The urban legends are riffing off real life. They're almost ripped from the headlines. If anyone looks the Lavender Town story up, they might come across reports like the ones referenced. Hey, maybe this isn't outrageous as it sounds. All that is why, 16 years after the release of Red and Blue, that creepy town from Pokemon still haunts us, and why it doesn't matter at all whether or not the Lavender Town story is true. I mean, listen to this. Creepy, right? Alrighty, I am now home alone. I'm using a much louder, enthusiastic tone of voice. I hope this is a lot better than what I previously recorded. But as you can see, I throw out Ghastly and it just gets destroyed by this level 24 Ghastly. Nope. I mean, what was I thinking? Alright, well, we're gonna send in Pikachu, and hopefully Pikachu can bring that level 24 Ghastly down, but it's gonna look like it's gonna come very close, but it's not quite there. Alright, so we get hit with the Confuse Ray with just our luck. Confuse Ray, we're already at 22 minutes in, but you know what? It's all good, man. Alright, so we get hit with Nightshade. And we're gonna go for Thunderbolt, but it's not gonna work because we are confused. Oh. Confused no more. We took down the level 24 Ghastly. That's what I'm talking about. Ash defeated Channeler. Channeler, where is the ghost? Okay, so here's an item down here. We found HP up. Go down the stairs. Or up the stairs, I guess. You shall join us. Bro, I'm home alone, and that just sounds too creepy right now. If you could cut it out after I read that story, you know? Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, so Scyther is gonna come back. We're gonna throw out our buddy Pikachu. We get hit with the Lick. We're at 13 health points right here now. We use a Thunderbolt. Dang. Okay, we're still in here. Come on, Pikachu, don't be paralyzed, bruh. Aw, man. Pikachu is confused. Alright, we use a Thunderbolt. That's what I'm talking about. Way to survive, Pikachu. Alright, 330 XP, 220 XP. We defeated Channeler. Alright, so this right here is a purified zone, meaning it heals your Pokemon to perfect health. No more escape ropes or walking all the way back to the entrance. Give me your soul. Please don't talk like that. I'm at home right now. It's almost 10 p.m. I'm by myself. Man, I just need to end this video because Lavender Town is starting to freak me out, bro. Oh no. Alright, so we are up against a haunter. Of course we'd be up against a haunter. Super effective. Ghastly became confused. It hurt itself in confusion. Of course it did. Oh, good try, Ghastly. Who knows, you might evolve next episode if we're lucky. Alrighty, so we are going to use Thunderbolt. I tell you, I don't know what we would do without our starter Pokemon. Pikachu, you are brilliant right now. You're absolutely brilliant. Yes, Haunter is down. And that means we are almost about to wrap up the video. Wow. Gasp. 690. So we are going to heal one more time, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, would you please leave a like? If you're a new viewer, please consider subscribing. Throw a Pokeball at that notification bell to be notified each and every time I upload a video. Let me know down in the comments below if you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to come and watch me. I am the Pokemon Trainer, and until next time, trainers, keep on training.